Hey besties, welcome back or welcome to my channel, and today we're going to be doing the mid-year reading tag. Start with like literally what every single YouTuber says, and that is I cannot believe it's the middle of the year. Like I feel like this year has gone by so quick, and like I truly, is that a spider or is that a fly on the floor? That's really stressing me out right now. Okay, it's not coming towards me, so it's fine. It genuinely feels like January was like yesterday. Like it doesn't feel real. Also, we're also in the middle of a heat wave in the UK, and like I'm not built for the heat. Like I don't like it, so I'm so sweaty right now. This is genuinely awful. So there are 13 questions. I got all of the questions from Larry Reed's book tag. I don't know if she created it or like she just does it. I don't know who created the questions, but that's where I got my questions from, just in case you wanted to know. Genuinely, I don't know if that's a fly or a spider, and it's now coming towards me. Do you have wings? I think it's a it's a fly, it's a fly. Okay, cool. I are gonna start with question number one, which is the best book you have read in 2026 so far. For me is To Seek for Two. I keep calling this book To Seek for Traitor's Son, and it's Seek for Traitor's Son. And I don't know where that's come from, but Seek for Traitor's Son by Veronica Roth. If you're like familiar with the name and you don't know where you've placed this, Veronica Roth is the author of the Divergent series. And I don't know, I haven't read any of her other books. I don't know if she has other books, but I've only ever read the Divergent series. This book took me by surprise so much. It's also a sci-fi, which I've never read a sci-fi before, and people very kindly told me in my Goodreads review when I said dystopian girlies, we are so back, that this in fact is more sci-fi than dystopian. So in this, we're kind of dealing with different planets. I think it's planets or well, honestly, I'm not a sci-fi girly, so all the terminology did not make a single bit of sense to me. But we're dealing with these different kind of realms and kingdoms, and we have our main character. I'm not going to say any of the characters' names, by the way, purely for the fact I cannot pronounce them. And genuinely, you can just Google it because I can't pronounce any of the names, so you don't need that from me. Um, so our main female character is basically a soldier at her kingdom, and she finds out she's actually part of this huge like prophecy about how these two rival kingdoms are going to come together, and she's a part of this big prophecy. But they think it's her or the ruler of the other kingdom. And you also meet our male main character, who is basically told that he is her protector, and then something goes wrong, and we then get a flash forward and he's imprisoned, and it's kind of about her saving him and then them trying to figure out how does this prophecy work, is it true, because he's also involved in the prophecy. And I didn't think I'd be so into this as I was, and genuinely it took me really by surprise and it really shocked me. Our next question is worst book you've read so far in 2026, and I hate to say it's When I Picked You by Sasha Lawrence, and I don't like saying this because she is a smaller author, or they're a smaller author. I don't know if this is their debut or whatever, and I don't like hating on books when they're lesser known, but I just don't think it was for me. I don't think this book's bad. You have your two female main characters. One of them is a director, or wants to be a film director, and the other one is a famous pop star. And they were like neighbors growing up, and they went to high school together, and all of that. And basically they kind of just fell apart as they grew up. Like nothing bad happened, they kind of just fell apart. And Lola, who is our female character, who is the pop star, and she kind of, her career's kind of gone off the rails. Like she's struggling quite a bit. She wants to make a documentary based on her career, but she wants, I forgot her name. What's her other main character's name? Give me a second. Renee. And she asked Renee if she will make it for her, and it's basically the process of making the documentary. But I think where I struggled is it felt a lot like, as a very self-proclaimed Swiftie, it felt like we were kind of following the Taylor Swift career path, and I don't like when books do that much. And I just struggled with that. Also, I just didn't feel the connection between our two main characters, and that's quite hard when I'm trying to read a romance book and I don't see the chemistry of the characters. So I struggled with that quite a lot as well. But I don't think this is a bad book at all. I just don't think it was a book for me. So I still think if the premise sounds quite interesting to you, go pick up and give it a try. It just wasn't for me personally. Question number 3 is the best sequel you've read so far this year, and mine is Reckless by Lauren Roberts. I have a full TikTok review of this up, so I'm not going to go too into detail about it. But genuinely, I understand why people didn't like this book. But I think I'm so in love with Kai and Paige and as characters. I could watch them like eat. I was about to say eat paint, but that's not the saying, is it? I could watch them watch paint. I could watch them watch paint dry. That still doesn't sound right, but I could watch them literally do anything and be in love. And also, I think the banter in this book was 10 times better than the banter in Powerless. Like, this was another level for me. Also, I think the premise of Powerless was so much better. It's definitely a filler book, but I love the characters so much. I would watch them do anything. And, like, Kai, the ending of this book, by the way, no one can tell me they predicted what the end of this book was going to be. I'm genuinely not okay with what happened at the end of this book. And I think about it all the time, but I'm not ready to read Fearless yet. So maybe at the end of the year, my end of year tag, Fearless will be in here and I'm going to tell you how amazing it is because nothing can ruin the series for me. Okay, our next question is the worst sequel you've read so far in 2026. And I don't actually own this book because I hated it that much. And that is To Sir Philip with Love by Julia Quinn. I just sorry, I think about Philip sometimes and I want to throw up because this book is the epitome of why I dislike men. Like, so if you've seen the show or you've read the book or read any of the books, To Sir Philip with Love is Eloise's story, and Eloise in the show and in the books is a top three character for me. Her, Benedict, Francesca, elite three. They are the big three for me. But this wasn't Eloise. I don't know who body swapped Eloise. This was not her. The amount that she was putting up with from this man is the epitome of why women choose the bear. Like, he's such a disgusting human being. He's an awful dad, and like they're trying to convince me by the end he's become a better person because he hasn't. There's no character development for him to become a better person, so I don't believe that he's changed whatsoever. I'm getting really heated, but I hate him that much. But like, ugh, like no, we're not doing that. But like, and like all he does is he gardens and then he says really disgusting misogynistic things about her. And I get like it's the time period and some of the other, I will say the Bridgerton series is bad in terms of the way it writes its men. They are very misogynistic and I know it's supposed to be about a time period, but like don't actually want to read that. And in the show they do a better job. Every time we get to Eloise's story in the show, they kind of switched up how Philip acts. Because we have met Philip in the show. We meet him in season 1, and you know he seemed like quite an alright guy. So I'm hoping show Philip isn't as of a misogynistic pig as book Philip is, because book Philip, we don't see him because I've read up to Francesca's book and I had to take a break. But I liked the book, and we don't see him that much. So I'm hoping we never see him in the series again, and I never have to think about him and his stupid face and his garden, and he's just in his greenhouse. Next question is new release that you haven't read but want to. And mine is Happy Ending by Chloe Lees, I think how you say it. This is my edition I got from Afterlight and it's so pretty and I love it so much. But I don't know this much about this book. I've had a couple people like read it and like tell me it's really good. I know it's like friends to lovers, single dad. The more I'm saying, the more I'm in love. She's a bookseller as well, which anytime a main character has anything to do with books in a book, I'm obsessed with. Like I love it so much. It just looks like a really cute, especially like summer read or like early autumn fall. I feel like this would be great in. So I'm really excited to pick this one up. Hopefully, it's actually not my July TBR. Hopefully it makes my August TBR because I'm so excited to read this. The next question is most anticipated release for the second half of the year. And mine is a bit of a rogue one for me. I've read a lot of this author's works, but not recently. And I wouldn't say this is what I thought I'd be most excited for, but I kind of am. And that is The Witch by Frida McFadden. I don't know why. I just think the title has me intrigued. So I feel like Frida is giving like supernatural and like I love that. And I feel like she doesn't really delve into the supernatural world that much. I'm excited about that. I haven't read the last couple of her releases. So, and some of the ones I have read have really left me disappointed. So I'm hoping this one kind of fuels my love a bit more and not my hatred. I just want Frida to redeem herself in my eyes, okay? And she hasn't recently, and I need her to because It stressed me out a bit. I feel like she's losing the room. The next question is the biggest surprise of the year, and that is The Correspondent by Virginia Evans. And this edition is really pretty. This is the one you get in Australia and the UK. I've seen the US cover. Bit ugly. A bit ugly, I'm just gonna say. I don't know why this is so surprising to me that I liked this book, because I've been really getting into my literary fiction recently and I'm loving it, and it's such an amazing genre and I'm loving it. But I think when I found out this book was told completely through letters and basically completely we're telling the story of like a 70-year-old woman who's just writing letters, I was like, why have I bought this book? Why have I done this? Because how am I gonna? I feel like literary fiction for you to really enjoy a literary fiction book, you have to connect with the characters. And I'm like, how am I ever a 21-year-old girl? Because I'm just a girl. How am I ever going to connect with a 70-year-old woman? I was very wrong. Sybil, I love you. I want you to write me a letter. I want to start writing letters. I this story made me cry, it made me laugh, it made me angry. Like it felt so human and it made me feel so many different emotions that honestly I didn't think that a 70-year-old woman could make me feel. And yeah, she was so frustrating, and sometimes I just wanted to reach through the book and strangle her. But the next question is a favorite new author, and it's going to be a debut or just new to you, and mine is a debut, and that is Hayley Pham. I obviously, as we all do, watch Hayley Pham's videos on YouTube. When I found out she was writing a book, I was so excited for her because I don't know, I just love her so much, and you can tell how passionate she was and how she documented the writing process. I was so excited to see what the end product was, and I was so happy with the end process. And I love both our characters in this book so much, and I love her writing style, and it didn't feel like she was trying. Like she gave me Emily Henry vibes. Obviously she isn't Emily Henry, but she get like the vibe of her writing gave me Emily Henry vibes. And I'm excited for when she writes another book, because I can just see her writing style and her writing skills and abilities getting so much better the more she writes, and I'm so excited to see that. I love seeing the process of her writing as well, and it was so fun and inspirational, and I just loved it for her. It just made me happy, like seeing someone I watched on YouTube for so many years like achieve their dreams genuinely made me so happy. And our next question is newest fictional crush, and this is an absolute surprise to no one. It is Chris from The Night We Met. I am such a lover and defender of this book, and I know people don't like it because it's like boyfriend's best friend, and like it's a hard trope to like, um but I think that Chris is such an amazing friend. And I think that's why I love him as a book boyfriend so much, is because through this book you see him continuously put people over himself again and again and again. And even when he doesn't completely agree with his friends' actions, he is there to support them. And when literally he once in this book he puts himself first, and that almost causes him to lose all of his friends, and he was literally willing to lose all of his friends and his entire world and life for Larissa. And you can see how hard a decision that is for him, because he's been an amazing friend to literally everyone throughout the entire series, and he doesn't question it. He doesn't like think maybe I should start putting myself first once. He doesn't do that. And he's so like thoughtful as well, like certain things that like other people wouldn't think about checking for, like Larissa's nut allergy. She's in his girlfriend at this point, and he's still the one who's going to check about that and do that. He doesn't just do it for Larissa because he likes her. He does it for his other friends' girlfriends. He does it for his friends. He does it for his friends' parents. He does it for like his customers. He does it for literally everyone around him. He puts them before himself. And I just think he's such a nice, thoughtful, amazing guy. And I think we all need a Chris in our lives, and we all need to be a bit more like Chris. And I think Chris, when he finally learns to balance being there for everyone, but also putting himself, learning that it's okay to put yourself first, he becomes genuinely a top tier person. The next one was Book That Made You Cry, and this one was quite hard because I feel like apart from the correspondent, which I didn't want to do the same book for two different questions because I didn't want to repeat books, a book really hasn't really made me cry sob this year. So I went with The Wingman by Stephanie Archer, which is the third book in the Vancouver Storm series. And I went with this because this made me happy cry. Hayden and Darcy are my favourite couple in this book. Like, they're not my favourite characters, but they're my favourite couple. And I think seeing Darcy, who's gotten out of a relationship where she was put down and she was ridiculed, and seeing that and seeing her and Hayden's friendship blossom, and seeing her finally find someone who cares about her and wants to be there for her and wants her to be everything to them, like, that made me so happy. That, I think it was more happy tears, but also a bit more like, it's just so nice seeing her finally get that and achieve that. So yeah, I feel like the last book in the series also made me tear up a little bit. I would say I cried, I teared up, and that was, what one's that called? Oh, The Wild Card, which is the coach's book. That one made me tear up because it was a nice conclusion to all the characters. But I would say this one made me like happy cry for a bit. Our next question is Book That Made You Happy, and I don't physically have this book because I audiobooked it, and that is How to Kill Men and Get Away with It by Katie Brent. And this was just a fun little satirical, like, thrillery vibe, and a telling. Is that the way, like, telling of like how society can be for women and how fucked it is and how awful it is. And it was just like, what if we just get rid of the people who are making women feel this way? What if we just like got rid of them? And I loved that, and I loved that, and I loved that thought process. And I loved our characters. I love Kitty Collins. Kitty Collins is an icon, and I don't remember his name, but our love interest in this book, he was great as well. And yeah, I just loved the balancing of the humor with the whole like, let's just get rid of bad people, and also balancing the kind of serious message of, this is how men are making women feel, and like, being a woman on earth is fucking awful sometimes. And not to get too deep, but like, it's an awful experience sometimes, and just having this book kind of lay it out for people was great, and I loved it. Next question is the most beautiful book you've bought this year, and I'm actually going to go with The Open Error by Edward Schmidt. And this is the most recent book I've bought, but I just love the spine, and I think just, this is from Afterlight as well, and Afterlight's books, I showed you happy ending, can sometimes be very complex, I would say, and very intricate. And I love how just clean the cover is, and then you have the tennis rackets. And yeah, I just think this book's really, really pretty, and also just the inside cover art, if I can actually pick this up and show you, is also, it's just really cool. And then I just love this book so much. Like, it really stood out to me when I got my subscription box. And yeah, I'm gonna put that back together in a second. So many pretty Afterlight editions. I think the off-campus, I don't know if I got that this year, but the off-campus series, I did a video talk about all my special editions, so if you want to go see some of the other ones I've got, because it was really hard picking one, then it's the first video I ever uploaded to this channel, so go have a look. Our last question is books that you want to read by the end of the year, and I've got a couple to go through. And my first one is Beach Read by Emily Henry, and I have started it. I'm halfway through, loving it so far. I want to finish all of Emily Henry's books this year, is my plan. So I've got this one left, Book Lovers, Happy Place, I don't know why I struck, Happy Place, and People We Meet on Vacation. And yeah, I've halfway read this, and I love it so much. And is this the one that's getting an adaptation? I don't remember. I could Google that, but I'm not going to. But I'm loving January, I'm loving Gus, I'm loving the story, I'm loving the whole book vibes. Like, I'm loving it so much. I want to try and continue the Throne of Glass series. I'm up to Heir of Fire now, and that's going to be really fun. But I'm up to Heir of Fire. I want to continue. The way that Crown of Midnight ended, gagged, but I don't know why. Reading series back to back really stresses me out, so I have to split them up with other books, but hopefully I can try and finish this series this year, hopefully. Okay, story time for this one. I read this book backward. I read this series backwards, so I read just for the Summer Thirst. I didn't know it was part of a series, and then I was like, oh, it is. And then I read Part of Your World, and now I want to read Yours Truly. So, and I know that Yours Truly has really good anxiety representation, which, as an anxiety girly, absolutely love and obsessed with. So I want to go and read that as well. And I just want to patch up some holes I have in my brain about this series because I read it so out of order, and then maybe I'll do a reread when I read it in the actual order that the books came out in. And lastly, and I say this every single year, I want to finish the Shadowhunters series. The last book I read was this book, so Chain of Gold. So I have Chain of Iron and Chain of Thorns left of this series, and then there's a new series that's coming out, and there's just so much to do and such little time. So hopefully Cassandra Clare stops bringing out Shadowhunters books so I can catch up and finish the series. So that is my mid-year reading wrap up. Thank you so much for watching today. If you've reached the end, thank you. Let me know. I'm going to leave the questions in the description down below if you guys want to fill them out in the comments or make your own video. That's so fun. I'm excited to see what books you guys want to read for the rest of this year. What's your rest of the year TBR? Let me know. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.